"Take her away, Ern," said Stan, sitting down in the armchair next to Ernie's. There was another tremendous bang, and the next moment Harry found himself flat on his bed, thrown backwards by the speed of the night bus. Pulling himself up, Harry stared out of the dark window and saw that they were now bowling along a completely different street. Stan was watching Harry's stunned face with great enjoyment. What's up, potheads? Welcome to the restricted section, in which a bunch of nerds with potty mouths reread the Harry Potter series for the umpteenth time and discuss how the story and its themes have stayed with a generation into adulthood. Thank you for listening. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry, we did it for you. Here's what we are talking about today. Chapter 3, The Night Bus. Harry has just run away from the Dursleys, and he's super grumpy, and he stomps into the night. And soon realizes that he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He's just kind of thinking about it when he sees a big black dog. No, that's not quite true. He just sees something. Something in the night with gleaming eyes. And then he gets scared and he takes a step and he trips. And he falls down and he throws his arm out to save him and accidentally summons the night bus. Oh my god, isn't that like exactly what we need right now? Harry gets on the night bus with Stan Shunpike and Ernie Prang, and they go barreling off into the night. Harry asks them to drop him at the Leaky Cauldron, and he says his name is Neville. While he's on the night bus, he learns a little bit about Sirius Black from a newspaper and from Stan and Ernie just chit-chatting. And when they get to the Leaky Cauldron, Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, is waiting for him. Unbeknownst to us, just to make sure he's safe, basically, from Sirius Black. Harry thinks he's there because Harry's in, like, deep shit for blowing up Aunt Marge. But Fudge is like, no, we deflated her and we wiped her memory. Don't even worry about it. In fact, why don't you just stay here until school starts? Don't go anywhere. Everything's fine. Like, don't even worry about it. But, like, you're not safe. Don't go anywhere. So Harry checks into his room at the Leaky Cauldron where Hedwig's waiting for him, and he passes the fuck out, as he is so good at doing. Welcome to the restricted section. My name's Christina Kann, and I will be your conductor this evening. Boo!
Choo-choo.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Mary Clay. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this chapter. This is one of my favorite parts of The Prisoner of... Also, The Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite book of the Harry Potters. So I'm happy to be on. And then also, as we were like getting set up and recording, there was this piece of paper sticking out of I have my illustrated edition set out beautifully. And there was this piece of paper sticking out. And I was like, what is this? And I pull it out. And it's a ticket stub for when they did a screening of Prisoner of Azkaban at the Bird Theater, I believe.
You've told this story. Was it a dark and stormy night?
This was a different viewing. No, this was just, it was a dark and stormy night the first time I ever saw The Prisoner of Azkaban. But last year, I think it was, let's see, what is the date on this? It must have been last year. The Bird Theater does like Harry Potter marathons, usually about, September, October, and we went to go see Prisoner of Azkaban, and I guess I stuck my ticket stub in this book, and I was like, oh, remember when we went to see movies with other people?
You probably saw something in the movie, and then you were like, I don't remember if that's the same way in the book, and you marched your little butt home and opened to this page in the book to compare and contrast and left your ticket there.
Exactly, yes.
Andrew, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, Christina. Thank you for asking.
Good. How's your new computer doing? Andrew got a new computer. Brag.
It's so lovely and quiet and pretty and amazing. And I love it. It's
I'm jealous.
So good. It's so good. I love it.
And I'm really excited to share that our special guest today is Liz from Nerdy Bitches podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
We're so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. So I've not been on a full Harry Potter podcast before, so I'm excited.
That's us. All Harry all the time. Mm-hmm. Full Harry.
Whole lot of Harry.
A whole lot of Harry.
We're going to have some Bigfoot sightings here. There's going to be so Harry.
My mom texted me a picture not like 1 hour ago of my dog on the edge of the woods.
I thought you were going to say Bigfoot.
Right?
She was looking like Bigfoot. She was like all harassed and like looking into the camera like a deer in the headlights. And I was like, why does Sadie look like Bigfoot in this picture? So, Liz, if you could tell us a little bit about your very hairy history, I'd be grateful.
Yeah, so I would say that I kind of first came across Harry Potter, or I had heard the name Harry Potter, and it was like 2002, maybe. I was in graduate school. I was doing a psychology class, and they were talking about banned books. And I was like, why are we still friggin' banning books? This is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then I was curious about it because, again, if you tell me not to do something, I'm totally gonna fucking do it every time. And so my mom had gotten these books because she's an elementary school teacher. And I was like, oh, well, let's take a look and read them. And so I read the first 4 books, had to wait for the 5th book to come out. Then it's just like, write faster. So I just totally loved it. And on our podcast, my co-host Heather and I are both massive Potterheads. We're big fans. So we've done multiple episodes on Harry Potter. Like we did one that's like Harry Potter After Dark, where it sounds skeezier and sexier than it is.
That's basically this podcast.
It was really just like things that we learned after the movies and the books, things like that. So of course we talk about it all the time. We do a book club as part of our ongoing livelihood as a podcast. And so we'll read 4 or 5 books a year. And as a podcast, read 4 or 5 books a year. I'm closing in on 200 myself. So,
Damn, girl. Oh my gosh.
Nerd. Yes.
That's so impressive.
So a couple of years ago, we decided, you know what? As a part of our book club, we're not going to stack them and do them all in a row, but let's cover Harry Potter again. Like, let's reread the books, but we're going to cover them as if we've never read them. Or at least we're going to try to do our best not to let future things influence, what we're talking about. And so we've been doing that for a couple of years now. I think we did Goblet of Fire earlier this year, and we'll be moving on to Order of the Phoenix next, obviously. And so I'm excited. We did this one the January or February of 2019. I don't even know what year it is.
No, I'm with you.
I've been stuck in my house for so long. I have no idea what's happening in the world. So
it's just the dark times. When things get better, they'll tell us the year and we'll remember it because it'll matter again.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. So that's it. I love Harry Potter and all this stuff. We also love to point out all the very problematic things that go along with the books as well. But totally. But we still live with love in our heart for the Harry. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
Liz, it's kind of funny that you said that y'all made the conscious decision to try and read them for the first time again, because I know Christina and I, when all of us were talking about doing this at first, we thought about that, but decided it would be way too hard. So we did.
Yeah, our policy is all spoilers all the time.
Yeah, it's so hard. We had a friend of ours, Randy, who is a co-host on the Cult 45 podcast. He started, and he was our first male guest ever. Like, we had kind of kept to all ladies because we figured there was enough dudes out there with their voices being heard.
Oh my God, tell me.
There are some man bitches, though.
Yeah, there are. And Randy is a delightful man bitch, and we really enjoyed having him on the show. He's a huge Harry Potter fan. But, and we had told him, we're like, okay, we're trying to do not the spoiler thing. And then I think he just thought it would be kind of fun to throw them in. So he's literally the first guest in the history of our show to ever get bleeped. So he's like, and then Dumbledore, beep!
Lived a happy and prosperous life, and everything was good.
It's like we don't do. That's the thing. Like, when we do book clubs, we're spoilers. We do movies. We have a policy that we do them after a certain 2 months out or something, because by that point, if you haven't watched it, that's on you and not on me. So
totally.
And we do classic movie reviews, things like that. If you haven't seen this movie that came out 20 years ago. Again, you've had time. You've had the time, and you chose not to, and then you chose to watch listen to a podcast with that name. So kind of on you. So,
but how was I supposed to know the ending of The Sound of Music when it was said in the title that you'd be talking about The Sound of Music?
Yeah.
How
there's so much music in it. Who knew?
And you can hear it.
Yeah, all of it. So.
So Liz, what Hogwarts house are you in?
Okay, so I think if it was just me alone in my life, I would be Ravenclaw. I just want to sit and read a book and everybody else can just fuck off for the most part. But Heather and our friend Kitty and then my husband Paul all decided we were going to go to a Harry Potter meetup because why not? And it was a house sorting. So we went through the test to see which house are you. And I'm one of those that's like right on the border of a Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff thing. Like,
you're divergent.
Not so much Slytherin. My niece is a Slytherin and it drives me insane, but whatever. All Slytherins are great. Sure. And so
I'm a Slytherin, so watch your mouth.
I said, you're great. So actually we did a really long thing in the last episode about how Slytherins are getting like a really shitty break and how even if you aren't a terrible person, everyone telling you that you're going to be terrible forever is absolutely going to cause some self-fulfilling prophecy things. So I'm also a psychologist, so just throw that back. But so I took the test and I was there and Heather was kind of in the same situation. Kitty was a little more towards Hufflepuff. And my husband took the test and he is like the biggest sandwich making Hufflepuff you've ever met in your life. He's so nice, just the friendliest person you'll ever meet. And so we decided, if we go to this thing and they're going to separate us into houses, we should all be in the same house with Paul so that he's not off by himself while we're all doing these other things. And I think that is the most Hufflepuff thing to do is to say, I'm going to put this aside and come make sandwiches with you. So.
Aw, sandwiches are better when they're made with love.
Yes. Sandwiches are always good. I don't care what anybody says. So
when I was in college, sandwiches was our code word for weed. Anyone got any sandwiches?
Well, wait, that's did you take that from How I Met Your Mother? Because that's literally what they do in How I Met Your Mother.
I've never watched that show, but my
that's so funny.
Friend with whom I used that code word extensively did perhaps watch that. I'm not sure.
They will like flashback. They'll have funny flashback scenes to their times in college, and they'll be like, because the whole premise is that Ted is telling this story to his kids, so he can't be like, yeah, I was totally lit and zooted out of my mind. Side note, that's what the kids on TikTok call it. And
zooted?
Yeah.
Wait, I want to say that now.
Are zoot suits going to come back?
So funny.
I hope so.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so they were like, he was like, I ate a really big sandwich. Yeah,
and they passed the sandwich in the scene in the show too from each other. It's really funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm actually about to take over as the editor of a podcast that focuses on weed and snacks. So that's fun.
Well, there you go.
Who saw that
coming?
Can
you do both at the same time?
Apparently, yeah.
What?
That's amazing. That podcast is my exact niche. Like that's my identity.
Yeah, and then my other one that I produce on is an Olympic silver medalist. So it's all over the place.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you got a lot going on.
Oh yeah, always.
Are we ready to dive into the night bus?
Yes. Don't dive too quick. You'll get hit in the head with it.
Why do we think it's called the night bus? I get that it's like funny because it's like nighttime, but I think it runs during the day. Is there like a joke in here?
Travel by night?
It was probably one of those, like Dumbledore has 4,000 titles. Some sort of Knights Templar or some shit. Who knows?
Oh.
They're like, here's your Patreon. You just name your bus after us. It's fine.
Maybe it started out back in the day before technology was invented. Maybe it started out as like actual knights would escort you from place to place.
They would show up and be like, get on my horse. And they'd take you.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of smoking weed in college, when I was in college, my friend Alexis, who's been a guest on this show before, we had this great idea that we were going to affix like trailers to our bikes, the kind that you would put like a puppy in, like
the toddler ones.
Up. Yeah. And then like we would dress in like funny, sexy costumes and then go cart people drunkenly home from parties. We would be sober and they would be drunk. And we thought that would be a very good gimmick. Yeah. Much like the night bus via night on a horse.
I like it.
Like a bicycle rickshaw.
Bicycle rickshaw is exactly what we're going for.
Here's what's a funny, weird thing, though. Why do they need a bus? if this is for wizards, can't they just apparate where they're going?
I wonder if there's some people who like get their apparition licenses revoked, like a driver's license.
Or maybe they're too drunk. Maybe you have to.
Maybe they're too drunk. Maybe like that old lady who gets off in the beginning, maybe she's like afraid of apparating the same way some old people are afraid of flying.
Well, I think there's a scene in either the 5th or the 6th book where they're going back to Hogwarts, and because they're all underage, they can't apparate yet, so they take the night bus.
Oh, I forgot they get on this again.
So I think it's for maybe like underage families or people who like don't have access to the Flu network because they don't have a chimney in their house.
Yeah, or like basically there's a lot of different opportunities for public transit in the Wizarding world. And I wish there were more in the Muggle world.
But it also seems like the bus itself apparates from place to place. Like, yes, it's going 150,000 miles an hour, but it also seems to like literally pop in and out of existence.
Yeah, there is a line where he's like, when Stan Shunpike spills the cocoa as the bus jumped from Aberdeen to Abernathy, or like whatever the fuck British name places.
I'm sure that means something to somebody.
Okay, so let's start at the top. So this chapter starts with Harry has just stormed out of the Dursleys' house because he just blew up Aunt Marge, and she is a balloon on the ceiling, and he walks several blocks. He's like, we've all been there. He's like stomping. He's like so mad. Mm-hmm. His trunk probably doesn't even weigh anything to him. He's just like fueled by rage, which like is such a good look on Harry.
Well, he's even got like an empty cage. Like Hedwig, I don't think is even with him. He's just, I'm the cage and the thing, and I have to boom, out. Like we all wanted to do at that age. Who didn't have some sort of fight with their big jerky aunt and say, I'm out of here, and just storm to the end of the driveway where you then just stand there like, now what?
I have a funny story. When I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 or I don't know, young enough to have one of those like children's like car toys, not a remote control, but the ones that like you actually drive them. It was a Barbie Lamborghini.
Oh, the kind that the kid drives.
Those like are the little dope. One. And I tried running away, and I made it I was almost all the way down the street to my friend's house, and then the car ran out of battery.
I've got two similar. I did once pack a bag and made it to the end of my driveway. Now, to be fair, the house we lived in when I was growing up, the driveway was about 1/10 of a mile long. So by the time you do get to it, you've had some time to cool off when you're little. Mm-hmm. You're little and you've got short legs.
You're like, I've walked so far.
I'm so far. Is it time to go back? Have they missed me yet? Like that's the whole running away.
Has anyone come to get me?
Have they called the police yet?
Exactly. And then when I was older, probably in my teen years, my family, you love them. They had very weird parties when we were growing up. So they would all get very drunk, and sometimes people who took their clothes off for money would show up for no reason at a weird family party.
That's fun.
And they're like, hey kids, why don't y'all go stay upstairs while we have this weird stripper person here to entertain your grandma for her birthday. Weird. And so instead of doing that, well, also the second story of this house this always happened in had like the catwalk hallway upstairs that you could see over, fully into the room below. So what was that doing? And the upstairs was full of my uncle's Playboy and Penthouse collections. So, you just have all these kids there like, what is happening here? Like looking through all these weird bags. So we would
approaching it with like a Ravenclaw-like curiosity.
Yes, very curious. Lots of conversation, lots of angles to be evaluated. But we finally got to the point where we're like, this sucks. And then like 4 of us, I have like 20 cousins. So we would all just go out and get in the cars, like our parents' cars, and just sit there like we're driving. We're like, when we are old enough to drive, we are so out of here. And we're just like sitting in the car, and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to the mall, like anywhere but here. Like, so yeah, I get it.
Wow. We've all been there. Stomping away.
Yes.
I have this picture on my Instagram feed, and I look really grumpy in it. It's from like 4 years ago, and the caption is really dramatic. It's like, sometimes when you're angry, you just walk. And like, I'm always like, what happened to me that day? What was I? It wasn't even that long ago. Yeah, like what happened?
You're like, who hurt you, future me?
Was this directed at someone? Did they see it?
That's the problem with vague booking right there, is that you're like, see it in your memories like 3 years later, and you're like, God, I wish I remember who I was pissed at.
Yeah. Dish self.
It's like, I'm probably still mad at them, and I don't even remember. So. Could be.
I need to figure out who I'm mad at. I need to be mad at them.
Yes.
That's definitely happened to me before, where I'm like, I haven't seen you in a while, and I feel like I'm mad at you. Just give me a second. I'll remember.
I'll make something up at this point. Yeah.
All right, so Harry's stomping along. We've gotten exactly one line into my notes. He's basically fucked. That's my next line, so we can carry on. He is. He's like, oh no, I did illegal magic. I'm going to go to Hogwarts. I have to go on the run. I'm in the darkness. It's very scary out here. Like, Hedwig, where's Hedwig? Like, I don't know what to do. And he sits down on a wall just to think about it.
Just to have a think.
Yeah, he develops this elaborate plan.
Oh, I love it.
I love it too. Okay, so he's going to charm his trunk to be feather light. And then he's going to put him and his trunk under the invisibility cloak on his broom and fly to London.
Like he just knows the way. He's 12.
He has that compass from his new I almost said firebolt, from his new broomstick care kit. So if he knows what direction London is in theory,
true.
He could. Britain's not that big.
My favorite part of this is when it says, then he could get the rest of his money out of his vault and ... begin his life as an outcast.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, you are like 2 weeks shy of 13 years old, and you're just going to start over. I mean, I have a niece that's that age who could do it, but I think she's a little more mature than Harry Potter is. And what's he going to do without Hermione there to keep him from being dead every 27 seconds? I mean...
Certainly.
This is a prime example of what happens when he gets into a sticky situation and he is alone, and Hermione is not there. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I guess I'll have to go to Gringotts and then I'll be an outcast.
And like Gringotts is just going to be like, oh, hi, 13-year-old Mr. Potter. You want to take all of these sacks with you?
Well, that's the thing is, like, how is he even going to carry around, like, that? It's a lot of money. It's a pile of gold. Like, how is he going to just be even with the feather light charm that he's never tried before?
It's okay. We don't have to worry about it because it doesn't.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
It just is such a terrible plan that it doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him try.
This is where we have to remember he's a Gryffindor.
Not a Ravenclaw.
Because, like, it takes a lot of bravery at, not even 13 years old to be like, well, this is the only option left. I'm going to progressively take steps to do this.
I like that he didn't even think like, you know what? I bet if I showed up at the Burrow, they'd let me sleep here and talk this out. Like, it doesn't even cross his mind. He's like, well, it's just me now. I'm alone. This is how we do this. We just move forward.
Maybe he's worried because of the way he got Mr. Weasley in trouble with the Ford Anglia in the last book. Maybe he's worried to implicate them further in his life of crime.
Maybe.
But for sure, he's also not thinking clearly. Okay, so he sees something gigante-sized in the darkness. It's gleaming at him. It's like a gigante margarita. It's much bigger than you think, right? Mm-hmm. It's a big creature in the nighttime. Eyes, gleaming eyes. And then he's startled and he trips and he throws out his hand to break his fall and he summons the night bus.
Like, what a lucky coincidence that he happened to have his wand in his hand when he fell and his hand like went up in the air.
For sure. And also, how much do you think the night bus gets called genuinely on accident to places where it doesn't need to be?
Exactly.
Clearly, always.
I think we've stumbled onto something here. I think the real purpose of the night bus is it's an ambulance. I think that whenever someone's doing something and they fall and their hand goes up, they show up and are like, you good? Oh, God, he's in a coma. Let's take him to, that's what it is. You can't apparate well, I guess you can. It's been done. But, like, if someone's injured, you don't want to apparate them. You want to get that night bus action.
Because it seems very safe.
I was about to say you might not want to operate them if it appears they've injured their spine, much like IRL.
Yeah.
But I don't think a night bus, the way that Stan Shunpike handles the luggage, I don't think he'd be the guy you want.
Well, Ernie's the one that does the board. He's the one that goes and gets the backboard when you're injured.
Now him I'd trust.
Yeah, he's been doing this for a while. He knows what he's doing.
I don't even know. Like, and I don't know how much you guys tend to talk about like movie versus the book chapter or whatnot. They could not have found a better cast person for Stan Shunpike if they tried. Like,
I know. He's
this
so
guy
good.
walks through the door and they're like, pimples and all, you're it, dude. Like, I'm like, even his pimples turned white. I'm like, what color were they before? Like,
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Disturbed.
Which
But
is- yeah.
that was a beautiful casting choice right there.
yeah.
'Cause
So
that
good.
guy's disgusting. Like, there is something, I cannot physically look at that guy without being like, what's on your mouth? Like, there's just something wrong. And I think that's what you want in a
That's
good
what you want. Yeah,
Stan
he's
Shunpike.
definitely,
He
like-
works on that bus for a reason.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of a gross guy. I also like Ernie in the movies. I feel like they have the room to give him just like a little more character in the movies, just because you look at him and you're like, oh, Cookie Grandpa who drives fast
With a shrunken skull, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of funny too. Okay, I've talked about this on the cast before. Okay, when I was a kid, this is probably like the fourth time I've said this exact verbiage. When I was a kid, I would always get the Harry Potter movie soundtracks because I was in band and I was a nerd, and I would always listen to them a lot because it's really dope music. But the Prisoner of Azkaban soundtrack, most of it is incredibly stressful. And I would be like lulling myself to sleep with my Walkman in my bed.
The night bus.
And then the night bus would come and it's like, and it's like the scariest shit.
I love this scene in the movie. Prisoner of Azkaban movie is also my favorite of the movies, and it's my favorite all around. I love it all, and this scene is just so good. The music is so good, and it's so silly that they added the shrunken head, even though it's not in this chapter. However, if you have the illustrated edition, it looks like there's a little bit of a nod to him, because in the illustration,
The Bloomsbury illustrated editions
Yes.
that are coming out at this time.
on page 29, there's a whole full page edition of the night bus. And let me see if I can pick it up and show you guys at least. And there's like a little, it looks like a troll. Wait, no, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Hang on. Wait, where? This isn't going to work. Never mind. Just don't worry about it. Anyway, it looks like there's a troll doll type thing hanging from
totally.
the mirror. And I feel like that's a little nod to the
head.
shrunken head.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's just so, his voice is so clear, because there's a line where he says, I think Stan says, "Take her away, Ern," and I just immediately read it as, "Take it away, Ern. It's going to be a bumpy ride."
See, and it's those kinds of little additions to the movie. Like some of the movie edition, I really like. It's like, this really adds to the ambiance. I like the fact that the beds slide around
Yeah.
in the movie too, which they don't talk about in the book, but it's just, it helps the viewer feel the anxiety that like Harry has so deep within him right now. Because it's just like, this is a nightmare.
Well, again, he has run away from home and done exactly what you're not supposed to do, which is take a ride from strangers. And it doesn't get much stranger than Stan Shunpike and the night bus. But yeah, I'm with you. And I also think that Stan probably should have been a little bit more upfront with the results of their driving before selling him hot chocolate at an additional fee.
I know.
Oh, completely. Yeah, that's really not worth the upcharge.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I would too.
I would be pissed if my cocoa was now everywhere but in my belly.
Because it's like, not only did you spill my hot cocoa, now I don't get it, but you spilled it on my pillow, so now I can't nap.
Well, also, he could have spilled it on Harry. That could have left to a burn. He could have been injured.
Lawsuit.
What if he got a scar? That'd be...
Oh, very bad.
I like how he keeps just like trying to like brush his hair down on his forehead.
That's one of my favorite parts of this chapter, is when he's trying to hide his identity as Harry Potter, and Stan's like, "What's your name?" And he just immediately says Neville Longbottom, because even when Neville isn't here, he's like getting the short end of the stick,
on.
you know?
Well, and it's like, it's times like this where it's like, Harry doesn't know how closely entwined him and Neville actually are. They're like destinies.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you could just be Neville.
Quick question. I might be reading way too into it here, but something that I read that had kind of a haunting parallel to me was reading Shunpike, and specifically the fact that this is a guy who is portrayed as being undereducated, being kind of in a shit job. He lives in a magical world and he works on a bus.
A magical bus.
Yeah, well, but a few years later, remember there's the whole thing where he gets revealed to be a Death Eater, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I might be looking too far into this, but I see a lot of parallels between someone who feels entitled that they should have something better, they underachieved in their own life, they don't feel good about themselves, and then all of a sudden they start hating people that they think are getting all these advantages that are a different... Yes, I'm drawing Donald Trump parallels here.
I think Stan Shunpike is overheard bragging that he's a Death Eater and not actually being a Death Eater.
Oh, I thought it was that he was Imperioed and that someone used him.
I think that's what he says.
Yeah, he's definitely not like a proper Death Eater, I don't think.
See, I like I said, I could be wrong here, but for some reason I thought that he said that he was Imperioed, and then it turned out that he really wasn't.
I think most people that said they were Imperioed were in fact not, and just like, oh, hey,
Imperioed.
they made me do that.
He was sent to Azkaban for being a Death Eater, and it's like supposed to be like a big get for the Ministry. They're like, oh yeah, we got this fucking Death Eater. But I think he was like overheard bragging at like a bar or something about stuff he doesn't know about.
See, that's when you get to like your third and fourth generation like Nazi kind of people. They're like, I'm a Nazi, but they're not. Like, it's just some dude, and you're not bad.
Like,
they're
bro,
not.
you're not
they're
even
just
a Nazi.
stupid.
Stop
Like
bragging.
they're like the inbred fourth down. Just like. No.
When did we stop punching Nazis?
No. Always punch Nazis.
Always punch a Nazi.
Yeah, violence
every
is
time.
never the answer unless the question is, are you a Nazi? And they say yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yes. I don't know. We had a whole thing of, a while back, a few decades ago, where we collectively as a planet decided Nazis are bad. This is not okay, and we're going to hunt them to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, Nazis aren't acceptable.
Or give them tiki torches. It's fine.
Well, that's why I love freedom of speech. It's because it's so important, because when you're allowed to say whatever you want, you sometimes forget that you're not free of consequence.
Yes.
And so, whenever someone likes to open their mouth and confirm that they are a Nazi, then we all, as one, have the ability to remind them that that's not okay.
I so love when they end up with their picture on Facebook in front of a rally, and then they're like, but I lost my job. I'm like, oh, did you? Sorry.
Let me grab the world's smallest violin.
And shove it up your nose. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to transition us really slickly. I'm gonna wrap this conversation up by saying that every single listener of this podcast owes me 100 Nazi scalps.
Yeah.
And I'm going to transition us directly into the night bus. Okay, so just taking us back to the beginning, it's described as a violently purple bus, which makes me so fucking happy.
I love that too. I was like, wow.
That's purple as fuck.
She should have just said that, yeah.
I mean, I've seen some violent shades of purple in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I think
It's
we all
usually
know.
a bruise.
Oh, yeah.
Bruise shaped, yeah.
And the night bus takes off. It's all fast and crazy. Has any of you seen My Neighbor Totoro?
Didn't we watch that?
Yeah, do you remember the cat bus?
Yes.
Okay, well, the night bus reminds me of the cat bus in My Neighbor Totoro. So maybe 1 to 3 of our listeners will give a shit about that reference. Haley, this one's for you.
It's just Haley. It's
really actually a test to see if Haley really is listening every week.
Yeah. That's
actually what she's doing it for, is to make sure that Haley listens to episodes that she's not on.
Haley, you text me right now. Okay, they let off that car stick, which Stan literally throws her suitcase out after her, which is so funny.
Which makes me glad that Hedwig is not there.
Yeah, that would have been, yeah. It would have been, no, I'm not gonna, I was gonna, whatever. Okay, the story of the, dog
Were you going to
who
relate
died.
it to Lord of the Rings?
No, the story of the dog who died on the airplane because the people made them put him in the overhead compartment. Oh, heartbreaking. And I wasn't going to bring that up because I was like, oh, it's just too sad. But then I was like, then they're going to be like, what sad story is she not bringing up? So whatever. But I love how as soon as she's out and as soon as her like trunk is out and the doors close, whoosh, they're off again. They don't hesitate for a minute.
They don't even see if she like gets up from like falling out of the bus.
They don't care. They're like, our mission is accomplished. She is no longer on the property. Go.
She didn't barf on the bus. That's what they're going for. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
I was going to say, which for them is such an easy fix.
I know.
Like, even if she did barf on the bus, it's not like you're a cabbie that has to, like, lose a fare over this. You know, it's not going to smell. It's all gone.
Magic, yo.
Yeah, seriously.
One of those things kind of makes me wonder how squibby these guys might actually be. The guys that drive the night bus.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I was thinking too.
They're allowed to have a magic bus, but they're not really that magic themselves.
Yeah. The bus is magic, like Miss Frizzle, but maybe they got nothing because you don't see them do any actual magic.
That's a good point.
That's what I was wondering too, because it mentions that Stan is only a couple years older than Harry. Mm-hmm. So I imagine he's a young adult trying to make it in the wizarding world, and he's possibly a squib, and there's not much he can do except for administer tickets for the night bus.
Well, and actually, I had a question with that too, because it says that he's only a few years older than Harry, and I think that's one of the examples of an author kind of forgetting how it feels to be a certain age, because if Harry was 13 and Stan was even 17, which would mean he would have dropped out.
I think I said 18, 19.
Yeah, and she said 18, 19. 18 and 19-year-olds were, like, ancient to me.
Adults.
That's a big age difference.
He doesn't know how. He's just like, you look like you're not quite full grown up, but more grown up than me.
Mm-hmm.
But that could also be some of that genes. I don't think his genes are all that solid. But that's the thing. Like, let's just say, because Hogwarts is very prestigious, but it's also where everyone goes. So it's like, how prestigious is it if everyone goes there?
That is a great point.
You've got some people who are going to, just like every school, you're going to have people who are just going to Hermione their way through the world and they're going to do their thing. And then you've got other people who are just barely going to squeak by.
Neville.
Because somebody feels bad or they're a Slytherin or they're a pureblood. We'll let them go. What kind of job do you get after? Not everybody's going to go work for the Ministry of Magic.
I know, there's not enough job opportunities for witches and wizards.
Yeah, that would be my thing. Like, I'd like to see the aptitude test. Like, what are the actual jobs available to you? Because what are you just going to go have to be a muggle accountant who does a little magic on the weekend? Like, you make your s'mores faster than everybody else? I
think that if I was in the witch and wizarding world, I would be a writer and influencer, kind of like what Gilderoy Lockhart was pretending to be, but I would do it for real. I'd be like a dope adventurer heartthrob writer.
I think I would do exactly what I do now, which is play on social media and write books about things that I see in the world.
Yeah, well, exactly. We can do it together.
That's it. Yes, that'd be great. Let's do that.
I'm willing to bet there's a whole squad or fleet of low graduating Hogwarts graduates that have taken to Muggle drug dealing. Because you get the smallest, tiniest quantity of whatever drug you want. Especially imagine like cocaine. Enlarge it, make it the most pure, crazy big thing, sell it, and if you ever get arrested, first of all, it's just Muggle cops coming after you, and second of all, you just apparate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is you just put it in Hermione's little beaded bag and you could carry so much coke with you and no one would ever know. And they'd be like, hey, he's got a fancy purse with beads on it. So he fancy. Bye. Like, that's it.
Here's the real theory, okay? And I'm 100% believing this now, and nothing that anyone could say would dissuade me. In this universe, Pablo Escobar and all the cartels employ wizards. They have met wizards purely for the purpose of getting it across the border. And what they do is they still send out orders with like, you know, in submarines and in things that they know will get caught. But that's
a donkey, a guy on a boat.
It's low effort. Yeah. They don't care. It's very little loss to them when they magically just apparate into San Diego and put it in their safe house.
Well, see, they use the guy on the donkey with 25 balloons of Coke in his stomach. They use that guy as he's the distraction. Right. Look over here. But boom, boom, boom. Magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, I like to believe that there are wizards who, in order to find a job, they go into the Muggle world and they become Muggle magicians.
Oh, yeah.
Like David Blaine is an actual wizard, but he wasn't having any success finding a job in the wizarding world, so he just came into the Muggle world and posed as a magician / illusionist.
Okay,
yes,
have any of you guys watched The Legend of Korra?
Yeah. I have, yes.
Okay, so you know when Zahir...
What?
Yes.
Maybe that's a spoiler. Okay, wait, I'm gonna say Legend of Korra spoiler alert.
Retroactive spoiler alert.
All right, Legend of Korra spoiler. Skip 15 seconds, I'll say it quickly. Okay, but when Zahir flies, and it reminded me exactly of when they're like, Voldemort can fly. And then I was like, magician.
He's like, Shazam! Boom!
Magic.
They're like, oh! Yeah. I think Neville Longbottom, when he decides he's done playing in the garden at school, is going to become a Muggle accountant, but he's going to be magic with those spreadsheets he works on.
Ooh.
I don't know how well that would actually work, considering they don't teach math at Hogwarts. So
wow, so true.
They don't have a basic understanding of like what numbers are beyond counting.
Practical skills. Get out of here.
I ask this on our show every time we talk about Harry Potter, but since I'm just talking to the same person every time, we don't have an answer for it. The question is, what the hell do these kids do for the first 11 years?
No.
Let's say you start school when you're 5. So you've got 6 years of what? I know Harry went to regular school because he was Muggle raised.
Honestly, by the time it gets to like we're graduated from Hogwarts and we're all looking for jobs, it's probably really competitive to be a Muggle born because you have this whole breadth of like base knowledge that the rest of these kids don't necessarily have.
Yeah,
I know. They're like, I can do math. I can exchange money at the bank.
Yeah.
That's what I think. How far does Harry think he's gonna get with his wizard money? Like, you're going to disappear into you've got a scar on your head and everyone knows you on sight, which, I mean, is he the only person with a scar? I don't know. But it just seems like he would have to disappear into the Muggle world. You can't just move on to Diagon Alley and not expect to be seen.
I kind of think this little part is interesting, especially because it shows up in The Prisoner of Azkaban, and it shows up during the chapter where he first sees, of course we don't know it yet, but where he first sees Sirius in his Animagus form, where Harry's like, I guess I'm going to have to live as an outlaw, and that's what Sirius has to do in book 4. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go meet this big-ass dog in this alley over here, and maybe he'll be my friend.
He might happen to be my godfather. I don't know. We'll have to see.
It might happen. It'd be work. That would be helpful. And by the way, big weird dog, can you sign my permission slip? Why doesn't he just forge the permission slip?
He's asking everyone.
Like everyone knows what the Dursleys' signatures look like. Just
what if Harry shows up to McGonagall's office and slaps his form on the table and it's just a paw print as the signature?
That's cute.
And McGonagall knows immediately.
Well, I was going to say, I
serious.
think a year from now that would really work. But I think right now McGonagall still has some misconceptions. So she'd be like, what is this?
But it's probably some sort of enchanted permission slip so that you can't
forge
just
it.
fake it.
Yeah.
But when he slaps that paw print and he's the legal godfather, which was probably discussed at a bar one night while Sirius and James were just hanging out. He's like, hey, maybe you could take care of my kid if anything happens to us in the next 12 months. You know, who knows?
Well, and Liz, really quick to answer your question, because, you know, I'm a Ravenclaw and I can't let it go unanswered.
Yeah.
I think what they probably did is, you know, like parents will teach kids like basic counting and like words.
Right.
They probably just keep doing that up until 11. which would be really traumatizing because, like, you're used to such a nurturing environment for so long. And then they're like, by the way, you know how puberty's coming? Go interact with everyone.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
You can always tell when a kid's been homeschooled, you know what I mean?
But what if all the kids have been homeschooled?
Yeah.
Well, it's like I homeschooled my niece for about 6 months one time. She was having some issues. And it's awesome, by the way.
They're only
amazing.
statistically more likely to be smarter and to be more able to cope with stress and more self-reliant. That's
and
all.
Empathy and all the things, yeah. But it's like, it's really funny because I'm just thinking about Molly Weasley trying to
Homeschool
Fred and George. 75 children in a shoe.
Because at one point or another, you know, that not all of them were at Hogwarts at the same time.
Right.
So she's trying to homeschool.
I'm saying she had like 7 kids. She's trying to teach them how to tie a shoe.
At one point, she had like Fred, George, Ron, and Ginny all together.
And Percy. Don't forget Percy. He would have been there too. And
probably when Percy was just about to go to school, probably Ginny was just a baby, right? That's a nightmare, having all those. Well, at that point, it's like, Percy, go teach your brothers how to spell because I'm busy with this baby.
Yeah, I've got a friend who has 5 kids. It's 5 to 15, Oof. 5 children. 2 of them are 1 year apart. They are like 12 months and a couple days apart. And she's like, I am so fucking tired and I live in a shoe because I just, kids are everywhere. Like, yeah, good luck with that. So, like, I have 3 dogs that sit on a bed.
Fur babies or what's up? Okay. Stan Shunpike is reading a newspaper where we last left off. Sirius Black's on the newspaper. It's like he's a big fucking deal. Like, Sirius Black's a big fucking deal. Stan Shunpike is like, you don't know who this is? And then Harry Potter starts reading the article, and the article's like, you don't know who this is? He's famous.
Yeah, right. Next to Harry Potter, the most famous boy wizard for no reason that no one's ever seen. But he's there, so how could you not know who that is?
Yeah. So Harry reads the article, and we learned that Fudge is getting some backlash because he told the Muggle Prime Minister about the Sirius Black situation. And then we also learned that Black allegedly massacred 13 people, which is a magically strong number, 12 years ago. And then there's a little picture, and Harry's like, that guy looks like a vampire.
It's also, where is it? Okay. So I think it's interesting that in the description of his picture in the newspaper, it's talking about his eyes, and it says the only part of his sunken face that seemed alive. And if I recall, when we read more of Sirius in the coming books, that's always a descriptor that she goes to, is his eyes and everything. So I just think that's interesting that his, prominent feature, kind of survived Azkaban, so to speak.
Aww. J.K. Rowling loves to talk about some eyes.
Mm-hmm. Wait, she does love eyes.
That bitch.
You know who?
Oh. She who must not be named.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't recognize the word you said.
Do not name her for her eyes.
Also, this is one of my favorite moments from the movie where Stan Shunpike leans in and goes, "He's a murderer."
Okay, Stan keeps talking. He's like, Sirius Black worked for you-know-whomst. And Stan is like, okay. And then Sirius Black killed these people in broad daylight. He's a psychopath. He was just laughing. We're getting some context from Stan. And Stan's like, Azkaban sucks. I would never want to go there. It would make me a crazy person. And then we also learn that no one... Okay, wait. My notes say no one has ever broken out of Hogwarts before. I definitely meant to write Azkaban. Oh my god.
To be fair, we aren't told of anyone breaking out of Hogwarts.
Holding their students hostage, you will get an education, I swear to God.
Fred and George break out,
Actually, yeah, they sneak out all the time. What am I talking about?
Wait,
all
no, they
time,
break
yeah.
out
No, I mean
that
break
one
out.
day, though.
Yeah, book 5.
They break the fuck out. Do we feel like just literally being sentenced to time at Azkaban, do we feel like that's cruel and unusual punishment?
Yes.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
Just a bit.
It's like a medieval dungeon.
Yeah, it's guarded by monsters.
Even they're just Ern. Ernie. Because Stan, I was reading Stan.
He does call him Ern, but Ernie sounds so much more normal.
They're talking about the Azkaban guard, or Stan is talking about the Azkaban guards, and Ernie shivers and is like, "Quit talking about those. I hate it. They give me the collie wobbles," which, if I recall, that is also, it's very close to Molly Weasley's nickname, or Arthur's nickname for Molly, which is Molly Wobbles.
Okay, I've cited this before. It's my second favorite moment in the entire Harry Potter series. My first one is, who remembers? Madame Puddifoot's, the nightmare date at Madame Puddifoot's. Okay, my second favorite moment in the entire Harry Potter series is when, I think it's the beginning of book 7, and Arthur Weasley's trying to come home, and he's like, "Molly, don't let me in. You have to ask me the password." And Harry's like right there and he doesn't know. And she's like, "What do you call me when we're alone?" Or no, he's like, "What do I call you when we're alone together?" And she's just like, "Molly Wobbles."
She's so embarrassed. She's looking at Harry and she's like, "Molly Wobbles."
The funniest shit of my life.
Anyway, yeah, so the Azkaban guards give Ernie the collie wobbles.
I literally, my note for that is LOL Molly Wobbles. Yeah, they're talking about the Azkaban guards, right? Which at this point we're probably all imagining to be like people, right?
The guards from the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? That's exactly what I was thinking. The guards from the Wizard of Oz.
My brain goes to more like Imperial, not stormtroopers, but the Red Troopers, the Empire's Guard, or the Emperor's Guard.
Imperial Guard.
Yes, those.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so the next thing that happens is Stan Shunpike is like, "Oh, did you hear about Harry Potter? He blew up his hand. Isn't that funny?" Oh, it's so funny. And then Harry's like, "Oh no, like maybe I'm going to Azkaban like this guy because we're both criminals. We're both hardened criminals.
Because we're on the same level.
We're
all
the same.
Punishments have one...
Murder?
I'm going to look like this guy.
Yeah, all crimes have one suitable punishment, and that's to go to the place with the people that make you not be able to feel happy for a certain amount of time. If you litter in the magical world, you have to, like, report for a 3-hour stint at Azkaban. It's a nightmare.
Yo, that's a nightmare. Even 3 hours.
Here's the deal. Aunt Marge probably had a pretty severe sodium problem to begin with. So, I mean, it could have just been whatever the Dursleys decided to feed her, and then she got a little hot
All that bourbon.
Legs swell up a little bit, and then it's just a light gravity day. We're just not that heavy today. It's a light gravity day. So,
Try
that's how
gravity
I would explain
light.
It right there. Be like, it is a light gravity day, y'all. Go call NASA and ask them. It's just, we're at a weird tilt. It's just not that heavy. I can't help it. I didn't do it.
Tell NASA that if they can't give me an answer, I'm going to an astrologist. Someone has to know what's going on here. Starting off with astronomers, astrologists are next, and then alchemists are after that.
Yeah, and then we just go straight medium.
Yeah.
Like, well, it seems light to me. I don't know. The ghosts are all hovering.
It's feeling ghosty out there today. Then they kind of just ride on. And then the whole hot chocolate fiasco that we already addressed.
The infamous hot chocolate fiasco.
Of 1996 or whatever year this is.
He should just demand a refund. Like,
it's not in his nature.
I need those sickles. I need those extra sickles because now I got to live out my life
I'm
on
an
the
outcast
streets
now
by myself as a wizard outcast because they're going to break your wand, right? If you have to, you're going to have it in a weird pink umbrella.
Do we think that umbrella was important to Hagrid before?
No, we think
like
he
a random
stuffed a
item.
wand
He just
inside
found
it.
it.
Yeah, he just. Who's going to question a giant with a pink umbrella?
No, but
If you
no one
you're
does.
Dumb. Yeah, no one's going to.
Yeah, it's like I think it says specifically Vernon Dursley didn't know what to do with that in the first
He was
book.
It's like I want to make fun of you because I'm probably pretty homophobic, but you're huge, so I'm not gonna.
All right. At long last, Harry's the only passenger left on the bus, which is weird Unless it is a night bus, everyone has to be off by the end of the night? Wait, is that a thing?
I don't
Like I
think
said,
so.
travel by night.
I think they've taken it in the daytime, or they've
they
seen
did
it
take
in the daytime.
Yeah. With like a family affair.
No, that was the day bus.
But it's
I'm mad I
D-A-Y-E. It's not spelled properly. D-A-Y-E.
Because they don't learn that at Hogwarts.
Family.
They don't learn grammar. Every wizard.
They don't learn how to spell. They learn none of that.
Yeah, that's definitely
I don't even know how they know.
Grammar.
But not to bring us back to the schooling question for too long, but do we think there's a chance that there are some like pureblood or what wizards who show up to Hogwarts and on day one they don't know how to read?
Yes.
Well, Goyle, I didn't know you could read.
No way.
Yeah, I think that's always where my school question comes in. It's like, you do still have to learn the basics of life on this planet. Even if you live in an all witch or wizard community, you still have to learn how to count, or else people are going to screw you out of your money.
Yeah,
all
but
day
like
long,
the fact that they have to, does that mean that it happens?
However, I wonder if there is some kind of like wizarding preschool, like offered by the Ministry of Magic.
Wait, I'm going to revise my career options to wizarding children.
Preschool teacher?
That sounds fun because they are probably doing like accidental, like cute little magic. Maybe some shenanigans sometimes when they're like fighting.
Well, remember Harry could ride his tiny toy broom when he was a year old? How adorable would that be until you had to track those little fuckers off the ceiling?
That just put such a cute little picture in my brain. A little baby on a little broomstick.
I don't know. I have a toddler niece and nephew. Actually, I have 4 of them. And I'm like, I don't want them running around on the broom. Because with my nephew, he would just beat you with the broom when you weren't looking. Like,
do we think that there's a whole... Because I've got the impression, thinking about it, that Muggleborns must be able to make so much money by taking something that's standard in Muggle society and doing a wizard version of it. So, like, for example, I guarantee you the first person to put out a wizarding newspaper was a Muggleborn. I guarantee you if there is, like, a primary school, it was probably a Muggleborn who was like...
It's because they know how to read.
Some of my favorite jokes are about what the Muggleborn experience is like at Hogwarts, and they come in and they're just using a ballpoint pen.
A pen. Or a computer. It's 1990.
But electronics go haywire around magic conveniently. But I think a ballpoint pen
is
would
not
pass.
an electronic. Yeah. And they're just sitting there, and then all of a sudden the kids around them are like, What do you mean you don't have to dip your pen into the well of ink every 5 words? And then this Muggleborn student starts like a black market for ballpoint pens.
What if you're allergic to birds and feathers?
They got a cure for that.
I worry all the time because I am allergic to cats, and I don't think I would have a fun experience at Hogwarts because I'm like, can I have a dog instead, please? Like, I would like a pet, but I'm very allergic.
What you can have is a charm to make you not allergic to cats anymore.
I don't care. I'm bringing my dog.
No, they're the best.
You'd have to just go hang out with Hagrid and Fang because he seems to be the only dog on board. So,
and
Sirius.
Sirius.
Then there's Fluffy.
No,
Fluffy.
Well, but they're both Hagrids.
Do you think there's like a portion at the beginning of the year where Madame Pomfrey sits down with all the first years and basically explains, like, listen, if you're Muggleborn and you have these issues, like, I know you might think there's no cure, but we have these cures. So just come to me and ask.
What about my dad and his hypertension? Can he come to Hogwarts and get cured?
Nope.
No, he's a Muggle.
But when you graduate in 7 years, you'll be able to help him.
Hopefully he's still alive then, but...
Thanks, I hate it.
Okay, so is brewing a potion considered magic?
Yeah.
Does it have magical ingredients?
No, what if it's
I don't know if actually brewing it is, but I think... I remember reading a couple of their like potions classes where they have to do stuff to the potion with their wand. So I think if you're doing a potion that involves that, then it would count.
I think it's a lot of
it's
like
just like,
prodding.
Here's Rogaine, Dad. I have a whole bucket full. It's a cauldron, if you will.
Yeah, I think they do a lot of prodding of the cauldrons. But maybe that's just to be like, how's the potion going? Speaking of cauldrons, we're at the Leaky Cauldron.
This is another moment I remember very specifically from the movie of Harry being like, "Oh, the Leaky Cauldron, that's in London."
That's
and then
in London.
they like
And
make
like,
fun of him. They're like,
it's
"Oh, the
London,
Leaky Cauldron,
you
that's in
fucking
London."
idiot.
But they're like, sure, we'll take a 13-year-old to a bar. Let's go.
He'll be safe there. It'll be somebody else's problem.
The toothless man will look after him. It's okay.
Yeah.
Somebody will.
Stan gets down to help Harry with his trunk a little nicer than just like chucking it out after him. And who should be waiting there but Cornelius fucking Fudge. A character so lame that there's not enough information about him to do a Behind the Magical Bastards episode about him.
We know. We checked.
Yeah, we were going to do an episode about Behind the Bastard Cornelius Fudge. But yeah, it's just like they don't even know what Hogwarts house he was in. What Hogwarts house do you think he was in?
He's just that like vanilla, generic politician. We're like,
yeah, he's just lame. I almost feel like he's a Hufflepuff because he'll just say whatever to make like no fights.
Yeah.
But he's like a failed out Hufflepuff.
Failed Hufflepuff.
Like he made it, but his dad had some connections.
He's probably a failed out Gryffindor. He's probably like a Peter
That's what
Pettigrew.
I was thinking.
Like the type of guy who was like, yeah, I'll be brave and I'll do the thing, and then it's like, actually no, but
not for me.
yeah.
How did like just the Gryffindor tower not boot Peter Pettigrew out? I mean, it knocks you down the stairs.
I completely agree. Okay, and then there's like this whole funny bit where Stan and Ernie think that this guy's name is Neville, and then Cornelius Fudge is like, "What's up, Harry Potter? Harry fucking Potter."
Right. He is so not cognito. Like this guy does not know how to be subtle at all.
He's
just like, but this is Harry
this
Potter.
is Harry
Doesn't
Potter.
everyone know? Hello,
Just look
hey,
at him.
Voldemort. This is where Harry Potter is right now.
He's like that meme from Jurassic Park. Hey, everybody, look, it's Harry Potter. See, no one cares.
So Fudge takes Harry inside. Tom's at the bar. He's not a fucking gremlin like he is in the later Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. They make him very much like, it starts with an like Igor of
He's a total Igor.
Dr. Frankenstein's like sidekick.
He's got a hump.
Yeah.
He's actually has a hump.
I think in the first movie, and maybe some of the other ones, he's just like a nice normal guy. And like,
He's
Tom's
just a
just a
guy.
guy.
Because this is the era where we get to Alfonso Cuarón's reimagining of the Harry Potter series.
You learned how to say his last name. I'm
Here's
proud
the thing,
of you.
though. I'm still not 100% confident that I say it.
No,
that I
you
say it
crushed
right.
it. That
So
was
I just slur it and I move on really quickly.
Yeah, no, you did a great job. I'm really happy for you.
just act.
I still, it's the UA, and my mouth wants to make like a qua, like a W,
Yeah.
but I don't. But then the R comes in.
But you have to say it so fast that it's like it doesn't matter.
Now we're ruminating so much on this that it completely defeats the purpose of me moving past it. So you have to cut all of this out, Christina. Okay.
And then so Stan and Ernie bring in Harry's trunk, and Fudge is like, "I need a private parlor to get these people out of my face." Okay, and then they go into the private parlor. And Fudge is like, "Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Cornelius Fudge, the Minister for Magic." And Harry knows who he is, though, because Harry saw him in Hagrid's hut at the end of Chamber of Secrets when he was under the invisibility cloak. So Harry, who is notoriously a terrible actor, has to be like, oh yeah, like, nice to meet you.
But he's also the Minister of Magic.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know who he what he looks
Harry
like?
doesn't know anything.
Their newspapers move. Their newspapers literally talk and move. Like, if you don't know, like, I would have been like,
There for sure would have been a picture of Fudge in a newspaper at some point.
at Hogwarts.
You know?
Yeah,
there would have
that's
been
right.
one somewhere. People like that always with their pictures up. No, that's why he almost dies always.
So Cornelius Fudge is like, wow, you fucked up. Like, we won't miss words here. Like, you fucked up, but like, you're safe. And that's all that I really care about, which is like
he's
so
just
cute.
Like, if we took in everyone who blew up their aunts, I'm like, is this a regular occurrence? Like this, we went and what did they say? They drained her or something.
Yes.
It was like
Deflated.
Deflated,
something.
yeah.
It was just like, oh, that.
The magical reversal squad.
Yeah, that sounds uncomfortable.
Accidental. Accidental Magic
thank
Reversal
you.
Squad.
Yeah.
Always correct me. I'm never looking at my book.
I also love his casualness with this. He goes, so that's that and no harm done. Like, just what does it matter, you know?
I know, and he's like, wasn't I literally nearly expelled last year because a house
Yeah.
elf
Yeah,
was
Harry
in my
calls him out.
house?
In 2 years, he's about to be fucking expelled.
Yeah.
Like, he's about to be in deep doo-doo for the same shit.
Yeah, they're like, and you're going to go to Azkaban, so there's no running off and just becoming a weird half-wizard boy in the Muggle world. So you were really screwed up trying to defend yourself.
I kind of got the impression that Fudge has like an air about him as though he had just gotten kind of like a verbal beatdown from Dumbledore, where Dumbledore was like, you let this happen. He's terrified because you sent this letter to him last year when it wasn't his fault. And now he's ran away. And we know there's only one place he's going to fucking go. So your ass is going to go wait for him and then treat him right, get him a room and make sure he's taken care of. Like, there's a part of me that honestly thinks that, because that's the only reason that the actual Minister of Magic would show up. Like,
Yeah. Because it's not there for protection. That's for sure.
Kingsley Shacklebolt is an R at this point. Like, send him.
Send him.
Yeah.
You know? Hell, he's a nicer person. I would rather meet him.
Yeah, like, what is he doing?
Send him anyway, yeah.
Also, I think given like what we know later on and what we learn, the reason they're also freaked out about Harry running away right now is because Sirius is on the loose and they know that Sirius, or at least they think that Sirius Black is going to come after Harry and try to kill him.
Which makes
Wait, but really?
no
They
sense.
were right? Well, Sirius was, like, waiting for him when he ran away from home. So, like, they weren't wrong. They just were wrong. You know what I mean?
They're like, well, he's here, so must be bad things.
Yeah. Okay. So Fudge is talking to Harry. He's like, your aunt's been deflated. Don't even worry about it. Do you think that Vernon and Petunia will view Marge any differently now that she's been, like, affected by magic? She's had her memory modified.
Do we think all of their memories have been modified? Or just Marge's?
He said just her.
They're mad about this later, right?
Yeah. And that's my question. Is like, if you're going to do memory manipulation, why not hit the Dursleys too? And while you're at it, make them be nice people. Could you do that for 2 seconds? Like, no, fuck that.
No.
This kid needs so much adversity that he has to learn how to spell it.
That's a great expression.
Okay, so if Vernon and Petunia, like, didn't have their memories modified, but they saw Marge having her memory modified, do you think
she's
that
dead
they...
to them. Yeah, she's dead to them.
Do you think that they would have had, like, some existential crisis about, like, has my memory been modified? Like, am I being affected by magic?
Absolutely.
I would say no, because they are so above it all and they are so feeling superior about the whole magic. Like, they think everybody who's magic is freaks. We are too smart for that. That would never happen to us.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they would very much, that's an us versus them, and they're never going to get one over on me. So
Yeah.
they should be scared to fucking death, but they're not, and that makes them dumb.
I also kind of want to, in a part of my mind, I could totally see them being the complete opposite, though, being the type that sees Marge get her mind modified, and they're like, excuse me, can you do 3 more, please? We just
what I
don't
would
want to
do.
remember any of this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but, like, Petunia, she can't remember my last Petunia.
Sorry.
So Fudge is like, just stay here until school starts. You got 3 weeks, just stay right here until school starts at the Leaky Cauldron.
At a bar when you're 13.
At a bar. It's an
By
inn. It's
yourself.
a tavern.
By
an inn.
yourself at 13.
This sounds like the dopest time
Yeah.
ever in
Well,
Harry's
and, like,
life.
I'm pretty sure the next chapter starts with, like, a montage of his great time.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, good for you.
He goes to, I think it's Florian Fortescue's
yes,
ice cream
the ice
shop.
cream guy. Yes, I love him.
And he, like, frequents it, and he just goes and sits there and does his school readings.
I would like to do that now if I could.
Yeah.
Just 3 weeks on my own with an unlimited bank account and a room someone else is like paying for. Yeah, I'm in.
This fucking 12-year-old, has he already had his birthday yet?
Yeah, his
So
birthday
he's
was at
13
July.
now.
Wait, it's his birthday it becomes dawn in this chapter, and his birthday was yesterday from this dawn.
So so this fucking 13-year-old is just living the life.
Yeah, he's 13. Yeah, he is living life.
We really shouldn't be surprised that he would have such a good time and be so cheerful when you consider that he is staying at a bar where everyone knows his name.
True.
Harry! Every time.
Norm!
Do we feel like the plan to keep Harry at the Leaky Cauldron and just in Diagon Alley, do we feel like that's sufficient to protect him from Sirius Black?
No, it's the only place a kid would know in London who is not from London, that is a wizard kid that goes once a year to get his books 8 minutes before they get on the train. The only other place more conspicuous would be if they just kept him at King's Cross. Just sit here for 3 weeks. Just hang on out here.
For example, Sirius Black probably has no idea where the burrow is and has no idea to look there. Maybe Harry would be safer there.
Well, they knew each other. They were friends. Maybe somewhere down the road. But he might not think about that.
Yeah. So Fudge is don't even worry about it. We're not going to expel you. We're not going to punish you. We don't send people to Azkaban for accidents, even though we know for sure that he sends people to Azkaban who are innocent.
Yeah, for literally no reason, yeah.
That's fine, yeah. Hagrid, we suspect you, so you're going to Azkaban.
That was always the thing that bothered me about the Hagrid thing. It was okay, we suspect that you did this. We've had no trial. We have no evidence, and we have no conviction. You go sit in the world's worst prison and wait this shit out. That's not how it works. You usually go to county first.
Exactly.
Before they send you up to big boy prison.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, go to jail. Yeah. Go to the county jail.
Do we not have a wizard county jail that here's our holding pen?
Exactly.
Especially because I'm pretty sure Azkaban is out in some
It's on an island in the middle of nowhere, yeah. So
west. East?
It's very
west.
Count of Monte Cristo.
It's in the North Sea.
Out there.
It's east. The direction I'm looking for is Eastern Europe. Okay, great. So Fudge is I'm going to go see if Tom has a room for you. And then Harry has himself a little think about why is Fudge acting a little bit weird toward me right now. Not a big think, for sure, but a little think.
Harry's never had a big thing.
Yeah.
No.
He's just glad that Hedwig got there. Your owl is way smarter than you are.
So they get him a room, and Hedwig's there. But wait, okay, so first Fudge is don't go anywhere other than Diagon Alley. Don't go to the Muggle side. And then Harry's cool, can you sign this permission form for me? Honestly, it's not a bad try because he had nothing to lose.
Yeah, he's but I'm not your dad. He's you're literally the minister of magic.
He's yeah, but I'm not your dad.
I would sign that. If it wasn't a year where I knew he was being actively pursued by a convict, an escaped convict, I would sign that permission form, right?
Well, he totally would, because Fudge is the type to be well, in 5 years, he'll be a voter.
True.
I'm going to sign the permission form. It's never going to come back to me.
Vote for
it's
Fudge.
Yeah. Just remember who signed your permission form, Harry. Have a good one.
But if you died, I didn't do it.
This permission form thing just made me so mad with the movie of because he goes up to McGonagall and is I haven't had this signed. Can you sign it? And Harry, if you had just forged a signature without if you didn't have to go around blabbing and asking everyone
Harry's
who is a
idiot,
slight authority figure in your life if they could sign it.
I was give it to Hermione. She can sign anything. I'm pretty sure.
When I was in high school, I had good penmanship and I used to sign all my friends' notes.
I did too. And my own, because I 100% perfected my mom's signature.
Yes.
To this day, she's you can just sign it for me. Cause
that's so fucking funny. Me too. And also my dad. And now that I'm 30, I'm Mom, look how good I can do your signature.
I know, my mom's why do you know how to do that so well? I'm
high school, I survived, so obviously it was
I lived
fine.
Across the street from our high school, literally across the street. So there's not a lot of skipping school you can kind of get away with when the teachers can see you from here, and your mom's like a substitute teacher. So I think by that time she was actually teaching at the elementary school, so they all know her. So you just don't get in trouble, or you just don't get
skip
caught.
School at the McDonald's at University Mall.
So fun fact, all high schoolers, just remember, if you're listening to this, if you go to a school where there's at least like 1,200 students, they don't know what your parent's signature looks like. Just get someone with good handwriting.
Sure.
Don't know.
It can be a different person every time, and as long as you don't do it multiple times in 1 week, you're good. That's just a little tip from Uncle Andrew. That's all it is.
Also, if you're in high school and you're listening to this podcast,
Stop.
Why? Yeah.
do you have your parents' permission?
Get your magical permission slip signed by David
Get
Blaine.
your permission.
We expect it on our desks.
Yes.
So Harry also asked Fudge if, he's just like, I'm an adult, I can talk about adult things. Have you had any luck with Sirius Black? That's something we're both concerned with as adults.
It's like him asking him about the news.
Yeah. And Fudge really fumbles. He's like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. Don't even worry about it.
He's not even here to kill you. It's fine. He's nothing.
He's not even here to kill you.
Yeah.
Which, this is a subtle thing, but one of my favorite parts of this chapter, and we kind of went over it, is when the Daily Prophet is describing what a gun is.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a metal wand that muggles use to kill each other.
I absolutely love that. That's the way they describe it.
And I was like, you're a wizard. Let's say you're a pure blood wizard and you don't care about the muggle world. You don't want to know anything about it. There's nothing you could learn here. I think that they are almost just stupid to the level of just complete disability almost, because they know nothing. It's like, I'm pretty sure if a muggle shoots you in the forehead as you're walking down the street with their magic metal wand, you're still gonna die. Like, that's maybe something to learn. I mean, It just seems like they're so above it and they have their own thing, but they think they live on a different planet. And the fact that they do so just, terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Like, it's like wizards don't think they're implicated in muggle stuff, but they are.
Oh, yeah.
So, what happens next? Fudge leaves. Oh, and then Harry goes to sleep.
Yeah. He literally falls on the bed and goes to sleep.
Doesn't even take off his glasses.
Hedwig's there.
He tells Hedwig, it's been a very weird night, Hedwig.
Yeah, yes.
Then Hedwig's like, I had a fly here, bitches. Like, you didn't even tell me where you were going. How are owls not ruling this planet? Because they know where literally everyone is. You could just have these assassin owls very easily.
Assassin
They're like
owls.
Sirius B. I would like to send this to Padfoot, who is a dog somewhere on the run. Go find him,
like
Hedwig.
in a cave.
Like, she's got a weird GPS. She can just search down Padfoot the dog.
She's like, say no more.
I know. I was like,
oh my God, wait. The birds work for the bourgeoisie. The owls work for the wizard version of the CIA, of the bourgeoisie. The birdouagie.
The bourgeoisie.
If you will.
Shut the fuck up.
We also accidentally, we just stumbled onto a horrible truth. Wizards don't think that electronics work in Hogwarts, but as we all know, birds aren't real. So those owl drones are totally working. I'm starting to see some holes in this plot. Call me crazy, but I mean, oof.
There's a few. Yeah, it's like a crocheted blanket. Truth. Just little massive holes. Yeah, sure, it's fine.
I got this for you for your birthday. It's the crochet blanket of truth.
Seriously, though, I would last about 8 seconds in this world because I cannot stand birds. hate birds. So
no, I get that. I get it.
I would just like owls zipping overhead and shooting mail at you. This would, you know what? I don't like the regular mailman. I don't want to see what he's got to bring me. I don't want to see how many more bills he's coming with. I don't. And now it's delivered by a fucking bird. Like, I'm out. I'm just gonna become a mole person and
I also can't help but imagine there would be a scene, too, where young you would get this letter, and it's probably delivered by a person because you are, Muggle-born, and you're like, owls. Well, who the fuck's going to choose an owl? That's gross. So you just show up thinking there might be like one or two. That first day where everyone gets mail, you're just like, I want out! I want out!
It's like, where's my big-ass owl-eating dog? That's what I need right now, because,
Oh, man.
All right. Does anyone have any final words about this chapter? Like anything we didn't like touch on or like you want to elaborate upon?
This chapter was 17 pages long. Like,
really?
It's not long.
It felt shorter in the gigante size.
Yeah, it's like 12 pages.
It's then very short. Okay, so funny story. Because I missed your original email earlier this week and my brain doesn't know what day it is. I was like, oh, I'll just pull out my ebook, and my ebooks have all disappeared. Thank you,
Whoa.
Pottermore, Potterless.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, oh, well, I'll just grab it from the library. Oh, wait, there's a 7,000 week wait. So I had to go to my sister's and steal back my own hardback copies because I bought them all and then said, you know what? These weigh a lot. And so
Wait, I'm like so happy for you though that you have it back.
yeah, my sister lives around the corner, so she wasn't even at home. I just broke into her house.
Stole Harry Potter.
Stole my Harry Potter book.
Yeah,
back.
officer, there's been a break-in at my house.
It's fine.
Okay,
It's my
ma'am,
sister,
does anything appear to be stolen? No, the TV's still here. I have some jewelry sitting out. Oh, wait.
One.
My copy of Prisoner of Azkaban is gone.
Yes, because God, there is a big hole in the bookshelf where this, so. But yeah, so it was like, okay, how many pages is this? I need to reread, blah, blah. It's like, how is this only 17 pages? Like, it's very short, but it's not. But it is. But it says a lot of the same words a lot. So it's just like.
Yeah, totally.
And we have just spent like an hour and a half talking about a 17-page chapter. So I like you guys a lot. This is how this rolls.
So my original Scholastic edition of The Prisoner of Azkaban that I've read every single time that I've read Harry Potter besides this time because I have the Bloomsbury Illustrated edition. It is very fucked up, to say the least. I lent it to Haley. Haley, if you're listening, text me. This is a test.
Test number 2.
You've had 2 chances, Haley. If you fail now.
But the edition I lent her, it's just, there's like pages falling everywhere, and I've like scotch taped them when I was a kid, and then I've like nicer taped them when I was a bigger adult, and like the pages just keep falling. It's like, this is probably my most well-loved Harry Potter book, and I think it's probably my favorite one. And I feel like everyone likes it because it's kind of it's like a level up from Chamber of Secrets. It's like, we're adults now. Let's talk about some real shit. Tell me about your history. Like, tell me how we got here. I'm an adult. I'm 13.
I like that you're like, I was reading this as a kid. It's like, I first learned about this when I was in graduate school because I'm old.
We all come to Harry Potter when we need it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
The series chooses the reader.
Oh. Honestly, I feel that way because...
Oh
Oh my god!
That was fun. My phone thought I was talking to it.
You know what? Mine does that every time I'm listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. It's like, Alexander. She's like,
Yes.
Do you need my help? I'm like, no, Alexa. You are not the same.
For me, it's when I watch Schitt's Creek, and they're always like, Alexis, and my Alexa's like, how can I help? And I'm like, no.
I just binged all of Schitt's Creek last week.
Wait, I haven't. No, I haven't.
You need to.
I know, I'm almost done.
You need to.
Are y'all ready to move on to some plugs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plug it up, yo.
Okay. Liz, will you go first?
Sure. So you can find me, Liz, on Nerdy Bitches Podcast. We are a podcast where 2 geeky ladies are podcasting our way through pop culture. We've been doing the show for almost 6 years now, and we have a blast, and we love it. And if you want to come and hang out with us, you can find us on Twitter at Nerdy Bitches Pod, on Instagram at Nerdy Bitches, and then on Facebook, you just type in Nerdy Bitches. But if you like books like we do, and book club, we have a private group for Nerdy Bitches that is called NBP Reading Challenge. So it is a book club group, and we have about 80 some odd people in there who like to come in and they tell us what they're reading. And we have done, like, we did a big bingo challenge over the summer to read different type of books, just to kind of open up your horizons a little bit. My sister has been forcing me to read historical fiction books lately, of which I normally do not do. But if you're interested, our most recent book club episode we did last week, it is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And it's a memoir and a self-help book at the same time. And she's super awesome. And I was about 3 hours into reading it, and I just called Heather. I was like, we have to cover this book because it just spoke to me in a bunch of different ways about living your authentic life. And I'm a big fan of that. So something I just finished watching Schitt's Creek all the way through. Absolutely recommend it. I've also been watching The West Wing.
Yes.
And it's about to be taken off of Netflix. So I know I haven't made it through. So I'm like halfway through.
Wait, is this your first time watching it?
Yes, it is. Well, that's not true. We've been watching seasons 1 and 2 for like years, but we get sidetracked and then I forget. And so we've been sitting down since right before the election and kind of going through and hoping for a better world. So Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and then Schitt's Creek on Netflix. The other West Wing is also on Netflix. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Hell yeah. And I can confirm that Nerdy Bitches is a very dope podcast. If you like the conversational, like low-key, fun attitude that the restricted section attempts to take with its tone.
Yeah, there are no notes involved.
Nerdy Bitches is quite similar.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, how about your plug?
So this is probably not going to surprise anyone, but this is the first time that I have been on an episode since Robert Evans started his new podcast. And of course, I'm then obligated to plug it because I've been listening to it. It's called Uprising, A Guide from Portland. Basically, all throughout the summer, as we all know, there were massive protests across the country. And one of the places that things got really, really dicey for a while was Portland. And the podcast does a great job of going in and explaining what kind of laid the groundwork for this, why Portland. And it also has a lot of information that's actually really important for all of us to have because it's a lot of really messed up shit that goes on there. And there's a pattern of things that happening in Portland as far as police go tend to disseminate to the rest of the country. So it's not a fun listen, but it's definitely very informative, very well done, and quite eye-opening.
Can confirm it's muy importante.
Yeah. So if you're feeling really good and need to be brought back down to reality,
all right,
definitely give it a listen.
Ouch, that one hoarded.
Well, sometimes you gotta be real. You gotta know what's actually going on. You can have fun a lot of the times, and you should, but you do need to acknowledge what the situation is in the world around us. So whenever you feel the need to do that, it's nice to do it in little quick audio, 1 hour podcasts that are like, this is the shit that's going on. Okay, I got that blasted at me. I can put it away for a bit. I'm good. Next week, I'll remember again what's happening in the world.
Excellent. Mary Clay, what do you have to plug today?
Sure. As always, you can listen to my podcast, That's What I'm Tolkien About. New episodes every Tuesday. Liz has been on in the past. And then also, let's see. So this is coming out next week, right? So
yesterday.
Last week and yesterday, the restricted section was on. I had Christina, Haley, and Brooke on. It was supposed to be one episode. It was supposed to be the last episode for Helm's Deep.
So sorry.
But we talked, no, this was good. But we talked for literally the length that The Fellowship of the Ring is a movie. We recorded for that long. And
we had a lot to say.
We did that with our last, because we did Hobbit month for September for my birthday, and we covered the movies and then the Hobbit book. And we had a guest on doing the Hobbit, and it's a short book. It's like 400 pages. It's like 45 pages. Like, it's a short book. But we had a friend on, and she's like, oh, by the way, my English professor from high school who teaches the Hobbit, like, to all this, like, he has this whole, like, fantasy and whatever class. he'd like to come on. Can I just add him to this? And we're like, heck yeah. And it was like we spent 2 hours talking about just riddles in the dark. Then we're like, we're going to have to come back and finish this episode later. So,
it happens. Lord of the Rings does that to people.
It does.
Yes. Lord of the Rings does do that to people very specifically.
And it's always whenever I'm on this podcast and we get around to the time to do plugs where I'm like, none of my interests have changed since the last time I've been on. I literally haven't listened to a new podcast. I haven't read a new book. I haven't watched a new show.
You can double down on plugging your own podcast.
Actually, you know what I will plug? I will plug my TikTok for any of the youths out there who are on TikTok.
So cute.
Yeah, wait, I literally can confirm that Mary Clay's TikTok is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And recently I'm having a lot of success on what we call Tolkien Talk. Which is the Lord of the Rings side of TikTok. I've been tagged in a bunch of videos of people being like, if you know any Lord of the Rings creators, tag them in the comments below. And I'm like, oh, that's very nice of you to tag me in this, but okay. Right. And literally only my Lord of the Rings videos are doing well now. My non-Lord of the Rings stuff doesn't get the same views as my Lord of the Rings stuff. So
it's just by comparison.
So I'm like, I'm just going to lean into it and I'm just going to post a bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff now. So
it works for me like that. Like that's what I come to your TikTok for.
It's also dangerous because I am truthfully incapable of thinking of not Lord of the Rings things. Like if I see a meme or I hear a funny quote or I see a TikTok video, my first thought is immediately like, how can I make this a Lord of the Rings thing?
I'm so proud of you on how far you've come, truly.
And even still, I'm like, am I even a Lord of the Rings fan or do I just talk about it a lot?
No, it's both. It both is the same.
I feel like that with Star Wars. Like I think I need to start like a different Star Wars podcast or something. Because people ask me questions like a random casual question. And I'm like, oh, well, let's talk about this. And this happened in the year 19. So like, blah, 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 and let's go to, and now let me tell you about the books because I've read every Star Wars book that is in the current canon. So let me tell you a little bit about, blah, blah. And people are like, I just said I liked Star Wars in 1977. That's all I said. And I'm like, well, that was your mistake. So
Liz, out of curiosity, have you been to the Scum and Villainy Cantina in LA?
I have not, but I think Heather has. They live shortly out of that area. I live in Texas, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I know Kevin Smith does a podcast out of there every week that I listen to.
I love Kevin Smith. Actually, one of his comic book men, Ming Chen, is a friend of ours from.
Oh, wow.
We do the Comic Palooza here in Houston, and he's a massive podcaster. He's a huge supporter of podcasts. So, like, you'll be on the floor doing a live show, and Ming Chen will just show up and get on mic and hang out with you on your show. Like he's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, he's a good guy. So we have links. We have, friends in weird places. So
awesome.
Also, I just realized I never said what my TikTok handle is. It's at MC What's Up.
And that link is in the show notes. Mm-hmm. As for me, I've been your host, Christina. You can follow me on Instagram at Your Girl of the World. Soon to change. I'm planning a total rebrand of my social media shit to just be what my name is. So brace yourselves. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think that's only natural a couple months into your podcast, because a couple months into my podcast, I also redid my Twitter handle, so it's bound to happen.
I just rebranded all my personal stuff on Instagram and Twitter to author Liz Serna. So since I'm working on my book and I'm almost finished with the manuscript, that I was like, I need to start building this. I mean, I've already got 1,000 people on here who've been following me since like 2004. So yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
It's easier than you think. So
yeah, for the time being. You can find me on Twitter at Tina Fontina. Okay. And today my plug is, okay, here's what I've been reading lately. This is kind of a heavy subject.
Oh, geez.
I've been reading In My Own Words by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh.
And it's a very good read. I recommend it a lot. It's essays and speeches that she's given over the years. And it's just like, it's just nice.
I read Notorious RBG last year. It was delightful.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So just, read any books about our beloved RBG.
Yes.
And then also, I'll repeat what Mary Clay said, that the restricted section, me, Haley, and Brooke are on Tolkien About last week.
Yesterday.
And this very past yesterday and the week before, which was last week.
The last 2 episodes for Two Towers theatrical edition.
If you just navigate over to Tolkien About and it's like last 2 episodes, it's like you're crushing it. Way to go. All right. We're about to wrap this bad boy up. Wrap it up nice and tight. Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
today.
guys for having me. I would love to come back anytime you need somebody else to babble with. I'm in.
Hell yeah. We're always looking for new friends to talk Harry Potter nerd shit with. And so we're so grateful to you.
Thank you.
And for everyone else, get the fuck out of my inn.
Night bus. It was right there, Christina.
Get out of my bus!
Get the fuck off my night bus.
Right.
It's like Christmas time, so my brain was like, there's no room at the end.
Or it's a good night bus. There you go.
Oh, good night bus.
Good night, bus.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, bye.
Bye.
The Restricted section was created by me, Christina Kann, based on the book series by J.K. Rowling. Theme music by Ryan Kahn. Logo by Michael Hardison. Be sure to like our Facebook page, The Restricted Section Podcast, join our Facebook group, The Restricted Section Detention Crew, follow us on Instagram at Restricted Section Pod, and on Twitter at Restricted Pod. If you want to join our Discord server, shoot a message to one of our socials and I'll get you connected. You can also email us at restrictedsectionpod@gmail.com with thoughts, feelings, complaints, or even lavish praise. Until next time, Podheads.
Hashtag professional.